Hey everybody, Eric Grenier here with Philippe J. Fournier for the second part of our 2026 over-under competition. And Philippe, this is going out just a day before New Year's Eve, so I wanted to do a little cheers to our viewers there and our listeners. So wishing them all the best for the new year and hope that they've had a great Christmas break or holiday break. So we did the federal over-unders in our last episode. Today we're delving into the provinces. We only have one election that's on the actual schedule, but that doesn't mean there won't be others, and there doesn't mean that there won't be some other things to talk about for the provinces. Last year it was Ontario. We knew Ontario was happening. There was Newfoundland and Labrador that was scheduled. We absolutely knew it was going to happen. Yep. Turned out to be a pretty interesting year, I think, provincially. What do you think the scene? I find this could be a really fascinating year in provincial politics.
There are many governments, provincial governments, that could find easily an incentive to go early. And so while there's only Quebec scheduled this year, as you just mentioned, I could see multiple other elections going on. Obviously, we do not know, and the numbers will change throughout the year, and perhaps those premiers will find a reason not to go to the polls. But and also, let's not shortchange the Quebec election, which I think could be a really interesting one. An election that doesn't have really a precedent in Quebec history. Like we haven't seen an election like that since at least my lifetime. So there's many things to cover. And I have a few lines here that we're going to put. So Eric, I think I started with the federal one last week. Why don't you get us started with provincial lines for 2026?
All right, so we're going to do Quebec. We'll leave that a little bit later. We'll start with some of the other provinces and some of the other things. I got a few. I'm going to start off on the West Coast.
Okay, all right.
So we have the Conservative leadership race, which we don't know when is going to happen. It's supposed to happen in probably the first half of the year. We're at a little bit of a disadvantage here because we're recording before
That's
Christmas, right. And Aaron Gunn, the Conservative MP for North Island, Powell River, has said that he's going to think about it and come out with his decision after Christmas. So he might have already done it, but this is part of the game. This is part of the risk that we're taking. And maybe there'll be others. So my over-under is going to be on the number of Conservative MPs, members of Parliament in Ottawa, who end up running for the Conservative BC leadership race. I'm going to put it 1.5. If Gunn does not end up running, we'll consider it a -1, a 0.5. So I'm more or less wondering if there will be more other than Aaron Gunn who ends up running.
But here's the thing, if that Mr. Gunn would be a very interesting candidate for the provincial Conservatives there. It's just that will you have friendly MPs of the same party that will have to rival with Mr. Gunn, or will they just leave the way open? I'm going to go with the under here. I think if Mr. Gunn doesn't go, you may have another one. If he does go, I don't think other Conservative MPs in BC will leave their post for this. So I'm going to take the under here.
Okay, I'm going to have to take the under too. I know that we try to disagree if we can, but I'm having trouble imagining who the other one would be right now. So I guess we'll have to stick at an under for 1.5 Conservative MPs in the BC leadership race. Do you have another one? Do you have any for BC? I got one more.
Not specific to BC, so we'll go. I have BC included in some, but you go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, all right. So here's another one. We'll talk about polling by the end of the year, so the end of 2026, and I think we'll base this on the Angus Reid Institute polling because they come out pretty regularly.
Quarterly, yeah, absolutely.
And it's good to compare apples to apples in terms of methodology. So who has the higher approval rating at the end of the year in British Columbia? David Eby or Mark Carney?
Oh. Okay, so in Angus Reid's final poll, where they have this huge sample, oh man. That's a good one.
And I'm talking about in British Columbia.
Yes, in British Columbia, of course. Monsieur Eby
Mark Carney's score in BC.
Monsieur Eby had 40% approval in the latest Angus Reid. He had a higher disapproval than approval. So it's hard to see Monsieur Eby go back up unless Sorry, I still have this little cold. Unless the new conservative leader provincially does as badly as Mr. Rostad, and the thing is, if you put the bar low enough, anybody can hop over it. So I'm going to pick Mr. Carney because I think this could be a very difficult year for David Eby. It's just that I could see also some red flags for Mr. Carney. So this is a good one. I'm going to take Mr. Carney, but not convincingly.
Okay. I'm going to take David Eby, I think.
Okay.
His approval rating hit a new low recently, and sure, that could continue. I do think that he has opportunities to grandstand a little bit, especially with the MOU with Alberta. And so I'm going to say that by the end of the year, David Eby's numbers might be a little bit better, and maybe Mark Carney's has gotten quite a bit worse. So I'll say that David Eby has the higher approval rating by the end of 2026.
Okay, I could see it. I definitely could see it. That's a good one. Okay, Eric, I'm going to stick with the quarterly Premier Approval Report Card from the Angus Street Institute, a poll that we both really much appreciate. But I'm going to ask you, in the next quarterly poll, which should be out sometime in March, how many premiers out of the 9 that are polled, excluding PEI, how many premiers will be at 50 or above in approvals? Now, in the previous one, in December 2025, there were 4 premiers with a 50 or above. It was Mr. Canoe in Manitoba with 58, Miss Holt in New Brunswick with 56. You had Scott Moe, who you think is going to resign next year, at 53. And there was Mr. Houston at 50 on the nose. So that's 4. I'm going to set the line at 4.5. Remembering that Mr. Wakeham had just got there when they polled and he was at 41. He could, if he does have a honeymoon, he could get back up. There's also Miss Smith at 44. So 4.5, how many premiers with a 50% approval or above?
I think that we should kind of expect them to trend down. I think Canoe will stay up there. I think Holt will probably stay up there. I can imagine Houston going down to 49, 48. I can imagine the same thing for Moe. Maybe Wakeham gets up to 50, 51. But I think it'll be under. I think it'll be under 4.5.
Okay, then I agree. So we'll move the line. How about 3.5?
3.5. I'll still take the under.
And I'll take the over on this one. I think it's going to be 4 or more. I don't think Legault Ford's going to do it. I don't think EB is going to do it. I can see the 4 right now sticking there, and maybe Mr. Wakeham would be a 5th one. So that's interesting. Okay, I'll go over on this one.
Yeah, I think I feel okay about that one. All right. Going to Alberta.
Okay.
So is that petition that's happening right now to find signatures for a secession referendum. There was already the other petition that was about not a secession. I'm not really sure how that's all going to play out. But we've seen a lot of polls in Alberta about support for independence. We haven't seen that recently, but we've seen some, and usually it's at 28, or sometimes it's in the low 30s. But let's say we get these petitions. There's going to be a lot of focus on it. So I'm going to put the line on the number of polls that show majority support for independence in Alberta. Doesn't matter. It's got to be at least a recognized polling firm, one that you and I would consider to be a legitimate one.
Yeah.
But the number of polls that will show majority support for independence in Alberta in 2026, and I'm going to put the line in 0.5. Will there be a single poll that shows 50 or more support for independence?
Excluding undecideds, right? Let's say you have like a 42 for separation, 38 against separation, and 20%.
A plurality. Let's say a plurality.
Plurality. Okay, I agree. Okay, I'm under. I do not think. I think this is still a UCP phenomenon. I remember looking at the numbers with voting intentions, and among NDP voters, it was 97-1. 97 in favor of staying with Canada, and 1% battling with the margin of error. So this, I could be wrong about this, and maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm sleepwalking into a national unity crisis here. But I don't think this movement has many legs. Those who push it are very motivated, but they are a minority. So.
Okay. I'll take the over. I bet you there'll be
Okay.
one poll.
One real poll.
I bet you it's going to be one poll, and it's going to be a complete outlier. And it, like that same polling firm the next week or next month will show it's not anywhere close to a plurality. But there's going to be one poll. It's going to show a plurality for it, and everybody's going to freak out.
Yep,
and
they will.
It's going to dominate the news coverage, and people are going to talk about it for months.
Yep.
So I'm gonna choose the over.
That's
and
interesting.
I think it'll be a bad moment for polling, understanding, and reporting, and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. I think
Fluctuation
it's going to be a flashpoint. Yeah.
and noise and stuff. Like last year in June when we had that Léger poll that showed, it's 48-52 among young people, and people freaked out, and so young Quebecers are in favor in separation. Then it went down and nobody talked about it. So
No, but they still talk about it. They haven't updated. They haven't updated their understanding of where the
I know,
polls are.
right? It's just, anyway. So
All right. Do you have any others for any of the other provinces?
I think as I would like to, the leader of the premier approval for the past 2 straight years has been Monsieur Quenu. It's simple. Will he go under 50% this year in 2026? And in the quarterly Angus Street Institute polling, it went down 3 points this last time around. Went from 61 to 58 approval. Will it go below 50 in 2026?
You know, you feel like it's like inevitable, right?
It is.
But like Scott Moe has managed to be over 50 for most of his time there. Brad Wall did as well back then. And
That's
Canoe
true.
has been pretty. He would need to have a 9-point drop over the course of the year.
Yep. But you feel it could come, especially if there's a snap election in Manitoba, huh?
I mean, there's lots of time, but also the fact that like his opposition isn't too strong.
That's true.
Oh man, I don't know. I will take his lowest poll being over under 50. I will take the under. I think
so
he will end up with a 49 or 48 by the end of the year.
Okay. I agree. Now, what do we do with this? Because there's 4 quarterly Angus Street poll. So, does he get below 50 in the 4th one? In the 3rd one? In the 2nd one? Or the next one?
I think it'll be the last one.
The last one? Okay, I'll say the 3rd one in the fall.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll be the tiebreaker for that.
There you go.
Okay, I got a couple for Ontario.
Ontario? Really? Okay.
So, yeah, and they have politics in Ontario. I
know, right?
I'm shocked. I wasn't aware.
They had an election last year. What? Yeah.
Some people voted. It was most people didn't. But okay, so the Ontario Liberals are without a permanent leader at the moment. We do not know exactly when their leadership race is going to take place, but it's starting to drag on. And I would think that at least by the end of the year, a race has started.
You would have to think so. Yeah.
Hey, look what happened with the Quebec Liberals.
They still don't have a leader.
Yeah, but I mean, if you choose too late, you start to run out of time for other options. Anyway,
Wow.
so I'm going to talk about whether there'll be any Liberal MPs, members of Parliament in Ottawa, who end up running for the Ontario Liberal leadership. Now, Nate Erskine-Smith was the runner-up last time.
Yeah.
We've heard Evan Baker talking about being interested. Karina Gold has said she's not interested.
Yeah.
But especially if we're talking about a year from now or nearly a year from now, maybe the Post starts to look a little bit better. Maybe Ford's numbers are coming down and more people are looking at this as a potential way to become a premier within a couple of years. So the number of MPs who declare candidacy for the OLP leadership by the end of the year, and I put the line at 1.5.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. Liberal MPs. Well, you would think they're liberals, yeah. Federal MPs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone else
of
could
course.
try.
Of course. Oh, 1.5. I'm going to go over. I mean, Monsieur Erskine-Smith did not even quit. I mean, you don't even have to quit your post to run to a leadership. So
No, really,
that
technically
makes it easy.
it's only if you win it.
So I'm going to take the over. I think it's going to be 2. Yeah. What about you?
Okay, if I put it 2.5, you'll take the under?
You would take the over at 2.5? You think there's going to be like 3 or 4?
Maybe
That's
to be
poss-
spicy, I could take the
possible. Okay, if you move the line at 2.5, I'll take the under.
over. Okay. I'll take the over. Yeah, and
That's spicy.
I don't know who that third is.
spicy.
But you know what? There's a lot of backbenchers who might be starting to feel unappreciated by the end of next year.
Yep.
Or the end of the year. So I could imagine maybe 3 declare. Maybe all 3 don't make it to the ballot, but I can imagine 3 declare. We'll say it's Erskine Smith, we'll say it's Baker, and Fanjoy. There you go. Bruce Fanjoy. I have one more for Ontario if you want.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Polling higher by year's end. The Ontario New Democrats or the Ontario Liberals?
The Liberals. They've polled higher the whole year. So that means that you would so in the scenario where the ONDP surpasses the OLP in the polling average, that means the OLP is really in trouble. That post is suddenly not very interesting. And Merit Style, who had, as we mentioned last week, had a poor leadership review, a bad election, sticks around and pulls the ONDP above the OLP. I just don't see this scenario. I mean, what I just said could happen, but I'm going to take the Ontario Liberals here.
Okay, maybe that's too easy. How about this?
Yeah.
NDP plus Green, greater or less than the Ontario Liberals?
Okay, that's better. Hang on. Let me just check the numbers here just to be sure. So I like that. That's a fun one. Okay, right now, the average, which has been updated recently, I have the NDP at 19, the Greens at 5, so that's 24, and the OLP at 29. So, and 5 for the Greens is a bit low. We've seen some polling that have them at 7 or 8, so it's possible they go up. What's the floor for the NDP? They had 18 in the election.
I mean, we saw some polls that had them in the mid-teens, I think, at some point.
Yeah, Léger had 13 in November, but that felt really low. Palace at 18, Abacus at 19, Engerstream at 23. I'm still gonna take the Liberals, but it makes me pause a little bit, this line. So I'm gonna take the Liberals.
Okay. I'll take the combination of the NDP and the Greens. Okay. I think maybe it's possible the NDP gets to within 5 or 6 points, and the Greens end up polling at 7% or something like that. So
we're using my average as a reference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Right. Okay.
Especially if they're in the midst of a leadership race. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes it exposes divides.
That's right.
We'll see. Okay, if you're ready to head to Quebec, we can start on the Quebec election.
Well, I have one just before we get to Quebec here.
Okay.
Number of provincial elections in 2026. We had to do it. There's one scheduled. It's Quebec. I can see 3 more. Maybe 3 more I would be pushing it, but I could see plausibly BC, Alberta, Manitoba. So if I put the line at 1.5 provincial elections, I feel like you're going to slam the over. But if I put it at 2.5 general elections, provincial general elections in 2026, what say you?
Yeah, I would have taken the over on 1.5 because I do think that I think one of those provinces probably could go early.
Yeah.
I mean, Canoe and the NDP in Manitoba, they seem pretty bullish. And we see lots of announcements of people saying already they're not running for election. Yeah. I think the NDP has already nominated some of their candidates. So it feels like they're getting ready for an election. You have David Eby, who's been talking about if his stuff doesn't get through the legislature, he could force an election. Sounds like he's trying to telegraph, maybe set the pieces into place. You got the stuff in Alberta with the referendums. Maybe Daniel Smith would want to piggyback on that. So 1 out of 3. I could see 2 out of 3. I mean, there's PI as well. Only because they'll have a new premier. There's an outside chance that Lance could decide to go early after he becomes premier again, get his own mandate. Probably not, because they don't seem to be doing that well. I'm going to take the under, I think, because I think that while 1 could, I'm not sure if more than 1 will. So I'm going to go on the side of the Paul Wells rule of the most boring outcome. So I'm going to take the under on 2.5 provincial elections.
It's a pretty good rule, usually. I'm going to be spicy a little bit. I think I'm going to go with the over. If I am advising, and I'm not, but if I am advising Daniel Smith, I'm going this year, for sure. Like, the numbers are just... It will be 3 years elected since... It was, in late May, right? In late May 23. It will be 3 years in Manitoba in September. So I think these two are going. And then in BC, who the hell knows? So I'm going to take the over here. We're going to have more fun elections to go over. Obviously, there's a rule in Quebec. I don't know if you heard the fixed election date laws in Quebec state that if the federal government goes into an election and it overlaps with the scheduled campaign, the election is postponed until April. So there's a chance that we're wrong because the Quebec election scheduled for October 5 goes to next April. But I think it's a long shot. So I'm still taking the over here.
Okay. Yeah, I had that one too. I'd set the line at 1.5. So. All right. So the one election we do know is happening is in Quebec.
That's right.
But before we get to the actual vote, there are going to be a number of other things happening. So here's one for you.
Okay.
PLQ leadership candidates. 1.5. Is there actually going to be a contested race for the Quebec Liberal leadership? We already know that Carl Blackburn has said he's not interested.
Yeah.
Charles Milliard.
We have to think that Charles Milliard would be interested. I mean, we should state that he found another job, and a good one too. He teaches at Bishop University in the Eastern Townships. So if after that leadership race he realized that politics is not for him, he has a new career. So, but you would have to think that if this guy wants to get into politics and wants to be Liberal leader and eventually maybe premier, that's a shot. So basically, is there going to be a crowning, a couronnement, or is there going to be a real race?
That's right.
Oh.
Got to think about it. Look, the last race there was 3 candidates. There's 5 candidates, I guess.
5, but two low ones, yeah.
One before that, acclaimed. One before that, there was 3 candidates. One before that, acclaimed. The Quebec Liberals don't always...
Who was acclaimed? Oh, Charest?
Charest, yeah.
Charest was acclaimed. Yeah, well, yeah, different context. But yeah, it's true. That's true. The thing is, I could see... We're going to know the rules of the leadership race before the end of the year. So this is going to clarify, I think. Because if they put like $100,000, good luck doing that in 4 or 5 weeks. I think Milliard could do it, but the lesser ones, and not to insult anybody, but the candidates that had like 2% of the points last time around, you would think they would not bother this time around, right? So I'm going to say under. I think. Thing is, I could see other people jumping in the race because it's a quick one. But they would have to do some internal polling and see that Milliard perhaps has this. But I'm going to say under.
I'll also take the under. I just think it's too short. I think
Yeah.
it'll be too short for sort of the,
They say
in it
4
for
to
a
6
fun
weeks.
time, not a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those folks, I don't think can get in if they're going to be just this tiny little sprint. What's the point if you're going to get 2% of the vote?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine that it ends up being acclaimed. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see.
All right. I'm going to dive right in. We can talk about the vote. We can talk about the seats. But right now, my latest Quebec average, let's pull the numbers here just to have something in context. The Parti Québécois has been leading in every single poll since November 23. So it's 2 full years, 2 years and a bit, the Parti Québécois leading. Their average over that time to low 30s to high 30s. Right now, I have the PQ at 36%, and winning an average of 77 seats. The thing is, the Liberals are down because of what happened in the last month and Monsieur Rodriguez resigning. And I don't think the PQ has been tested that much. So I'm going to ask you, Eric, number of Parti Québécois seats in the election. I'm diving right in. And I put the line at 62.5.
Oh, come on.
The reason I put 62.5, for those who know, and the face of Eric tells it all, is that the threshold in the National Assembly for a majority is 63. So will there be a PQ majority in October?
The problem with this is, first of all, that's just a minority. Will they win the election question? That's a cheating one. But the problem is that if they don't win 63 plus, someone else has to win a bunch of seats.
That's
and all of the other parties are just seem to be in just such rough shape. Now, it's possible that a new leader for the Liberals will give them new life, and potentially they can make more of a run out of it. But I think if that's the line, I have to choose the over. I think it will be a majority for the PQ.
Here's the thing. If you take the under on this, you kind of have to justify it, right?
Yeah.
And if you take the over, you just say, well, look at this. So, very well then. I will move the line.
Okay.
The line
this
moves.
was a test, wasn't it?
It was a test. It was a test. I will move the line, and not by just a little bit. I will move the line to 70.5. So right now, again, I have 77 for the Parti québécois, but events of the past weeks maybe have changed the landscape. So does the PQ win more than 70 seats?
There, I think I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
I'm going to take the under. I think that Saint-Pierre Plamondon can be a little prickly, and over the course of a 5-week campaign, I think that could cause problems. Yeah. And I think right now it's largely about dissatisfaction with the CAQ government and looking for other options. During a campaign, there's going to be a lot of talk about a referendum. We know from polling that Quebecers don't really want one.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like the CAQ is not going to be as doomed as they seem right now. So
okay.
I will take the under. I can see more in the 65 to 67 range for the PQ.
Okay. And I will take the over. The fact that we have 5 parties could completely skew this race. It could skew it in every which way. And you're right. They could win 63 seats. It's possible. But they also could win 75. So I'm going to take the over to be different from you. PQ majority with more than 70 seats. Okay.
All right. Well, then why don't we follow along in that vein? And you scoffed at what I said. So the CAQ has been in your projections near the floor, if not beneath it sometimes.
Yep.
But come on, it's hard to actually get wiped out. So
it's hard.
If I put the CAQ seats at 3.5, how would you feel about that?
It's very funny because on my sheet right here, I have line for the CAQ at 3.5. I have the same line as you. Okay. May I make a suggestion here?
I might allow it.
Okay. Before we answer that, I would like to have a CAQ related line. May I change it?
Sure.
Number of leadership races for the CAQ, 0.5.
I had a number of François Legault's as CAQ leaders by election day.
Here's the thing. That's the thing. If okay, I'm gonna say the numbers show that Monsieur Legault's numbers are irreconcilable. He's done. But thing is, in his mind, if you put yourself in his shoes, he looks around and says the Liberals are in shambles. The Parti québécois has a leader who's, as you said, prickly. He has a very thin skin, and they're not bluffing on the referendum. Mm-hmm. Right? They are serious. And I don't think many voters in Quebec realize how serious the PQ is about the referendum. So if you put yourself in Monsieur François Legault's shoes, you can say, well, I may not be that strong, but my opponents have weaknesses too. So if Monsieur Legault stays, I could see the CAQ getting 0 or 1. But if he leaves, then everything else is like Carney last year. Everything else goes out the window, and we have to draw everything from scratch. So that's why I wanted to do that line before yours. Do you think Monsieur Legault stays for the election? He seems like he wants to. You say yes?
I think he will.
Okay.
I'm not certain of it. But if he's not, he should win whatever the Oscars in Quebec. Because what would
That's
it be?
right. C'était les Jutras, but it changed because Jutra, the name was tainted with some scandals.
Yeah. Anyway, he should win that because he's giving no indications. Even when Trudeau was at his lowest, you can kind of tell that even he knew he was BSing himself. But Legault looks like he believes it. And I think he's actually going to stick around. I wouldn't be shocked if he resigned. I mean, his numbers are among the worst that you could have going into an election, but I bet he sticks around.
Okay, I'll say this. I agree with you. I think he's going to stick around, but just to be different, events can change things. I think we're going to have a new CAQ leader for the election.
Okay.
Okay, now, that being said,
the
3.5. That Éric Duhem in the regions is going to hurt the CAQ so much. And the PQ is around, as I said, 36% in the polls. This is what Sovereignty has. So it's consistent. If we had the PQ at 42 and Sovereignty at 34, I would say, okay, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the under. I think fewer than 3 seats or fewer for the CAQ in the election.
Wow. I'll take the over. I think it's hard to wipe a party out. It's happened a few times, but it is hard.
It is hard.
And
I agree.
I think a few of the MNAs might end up surviving on their own names. And I bet you, like I said, I just have a feeling that the election doesn't end up being as lopsided as we have it now. And, maybe by election day, it's like 32% for the PQ, 28% for the Liberals, and like 22% for the CAQ.
Yeah.
And good luck to anybody who's trying to predict the outcome in terms of seats.
I find this interesting, my friend, because so our line's right there. You think Legault is going to stay and the CEQ is going to win 4 seats or more. Yeah. I think he might go and still win fewer than 4. So, okay.
We'll see.
All right. I think we're hedging here. But
yeah. Okay.
All right.
I guess you go next since that was my line.
I had the line number of leadership races among Quebec parties, but we did that. Okay. The Quebec Liberals. They had their worst election up to that point in 2018. They had just below 25% of the vote. So I'm going to go with share of the vote for the Quebec Liberals in this election. And I'm going to put the line where they were just before the Rodriguez thing started to blow up, which was 27%. Over or under 27% of the vote in the Quebec election for the Quebec Liberals.
I think that with the focus on referendum, that the Liberals are going to get a boost as the non-referendum option. So I will take the over. Ooh. I see them getting somewhere in the high 20s.
Okay. I'm going to move the line to 28%.
Oh boy! So they got to get like.
I'm 20. Squeezing you. You said the high 20s. 28% is high 20s.
I'll take the over. I think they're gonna have a new leader, and they'll try to separate themselves from what's just happened. And 28.2.
Or
book it.
You called it. I'm gonna take the under. I think the Liberals will go back up after this disarray that they just had. 28% is pushing it a bit for me, so I'm taking the under. So, okay.
Okay, sticking with the Liberals.
Okay.
The number of seats they win outside of the Greater Montreal area and the Outaouais, 1.5.
Greater Montreal. Okay, so Montreal, Laval, Montérégie, and Outaouais. And we take that away. Oh, my God. Okay. There's 6 seats in the Eastern Townships. If Milliard wins the leadership, well, if he runs and if he wins, I think he stated that he would go in Orford, which is a winnable seat for the Liberals. But 1.5. They're not going to get anything in Quebec City. Oh, man. Thing is, I was told by a really good source and a sovereigntist source that if Blackburn had run in Robertval, he would have won. Even though, Robertval is CAQ right now.
Yeah, and that's Criad's old writing.
Yeah. They like leaders over there. Where would they win? Any seats outside of... Okay, I'm going to take the under. I'm taking the under. Yeah.
I'll take the over, and assuming they win 2 in the Eastern Townships.
Yeah, that's true. Hang on, though. That's true. There's Richmond, there's Brome-Missisquoi, there's Sherbrooke.
All right, 2.5.
2.5, I'm taking the under. Yeah.
I'll take the over. Why not?
All right.
Let's go.
Okay.
28.2, and they win 3 seats
and 3 seats. Okay. All right. We have to talk about the Quebec Conservatives. They had 0 seats last time with 12.9% of the vote. It was an aberration that they didn't win any seats, but it was also many campaign mistakes that Monsieur Duhem, of course, will never admit publicly, but they were campaign mistakes. It seems like they won't do the same mistakes this time around, the Quebec Conservatives. So I'm going to go straight up a number of seats for the Quebec Conservatives. My average right now is at 7. You would think that they have a floor around 4. I think the 2 Beauces and Bellechasse are 1, easily one of the outside Quebec City area. I think they have a floor of 4. I just don't think they have the machine to get that much higher. So I'm going to set the line at 5.5 seats for the Quebec Conservatives. What say you?
I feel like, so their polling is more, they're a couple points up, but not a huge amount.
Not a huge amount, no.
So a lot of the seats that they're winning are kind of being won by default, that the other parties are dropping behind them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not a good path. That's not a good strategy. It's just to kind of assume, and not that they are, but just to kind of assume that these seats will fall naturally to them.
Yeah.
I think that they might get squeezed out a little bit. If in my scenario where I said that the PQ, the CQ, and the Liberals are all kind of competitive, I think the Conservatives get squeezed out. And so I think that they have another disappointing result, and they end up with 3-4 seats, which I guess for them is still pretty good. But I'm going to take the under.
Okay. I'm going to take the over because that base is loyal. They're not that much of them. As you said, they had 12 points. So let's say 13% in the last election. I have them at 15 right now, but it's been fluctuating around that mark. I'm going to take the over. I think the Conservatives make an entry at the National Assembly for the first time since 1935.
Wow.
And with multiple members.
Okay, well, this one is kind of in the same vein. So if we run a line through the province, that kind of goes from Trois-Rivières to Sherbrooke.
Okay.
Okay. East of that line, how many seats would be won by parties that are not the PQ and are not the Conservatives? And I'm going to put the line at 0.5. Will any of the seats east of Trois-Rivières and Sherbrooke be anything other than the very dark blue or the other dark blue?
Wow. Let me pull that. I want to pull that map. That's a good one. Because you're right. Right now it would be 0. HTM. Right now it would be 0. So Sherbrooke. So, well, there's Richmond in there. Richmond could be Liberal. But that's the only one. There's Champlain. Champlain is Sonia Lebel of the CAQ. But will she even stay for that election? That's the thing. Early in the year, we're going to have a lot of announcements of CAQ M&As that say, oh, you know what, I'm happy with the path I had in politics, but that's enough for me. 0.5 is your line? Oh, damn. I'm taking the over, but not enthusiastically at all.
Okay, I'll take the under.
Wow.
It just seems like the region is not really all that diverse in terms of its political views. So,
but you're hedging here because you think that the PQ is going to win fewer than 70 seats.
Yeah, it all makes sense. Don't worry. Okay. Don't worry.
There's a plan. There's a method to the madness. Yeah. Okay. Well, we have to talk about Quebec Solidaire here. Okay. Right? We kind of have to. So right now their average is 9. Is that right? 9% or 8%? I have 8% on average. 8.5% share of the vote nationally or provincially for Quebec Solidaire. 8.5.
I think they're going to have a struggle. I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's a tough. I mean, thing is, there are left of center voters in Quebec. Obviously, it's just that Quebec Solidaire, they finished second in the popular vote last time, right? With Nando Dubois, but many of their incumbents, their good incumbents, are not showing up again. They're not run again. They could have trouble. So I'm gonna take the under. So we have to move the line. Where would you put the line? 8 on the 8. Dot. I'm still taking the under.
Ooh, okay. I think I might too. 7.5.
Man, sorry for the Quebec Solidaire partisans that are listening to this. 7.5 is the score they had in 2014. Man. I'm taking the under.
Wow. I'll take the over.
Okay.
I'm envisioning a 7.7.
Okay.
All right.
Man, you have these visions today. Wow, very specific.
I know, I'm just seeing them. I just see the number. And I don't know. I just got I'm like Mackenzie King. I got spirits telling me what's going to happen.
Wow.
Okay, here's one that we got from someone from the Discord. Some of these have been inspired a little bit from the Discord, or they were similar, but this one was a good one that we got. So, official party status in Quebec is 12 seats or 20% of the vote.
Yeah.
Those are the official rules. It can be given to parties if the National Assembly wants, but those are the rules. 12 seats and 20%, which is quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how many parties will earn official party status? And the line that we were given was 2.5.
Well, okay. So will there be a third one, basically? Because
Yeah, more or less. I mean, we
I can
both
see
assume the
two.
PQ and the Liberals will manage it.
could the CAQ really tank in the seats, but just have just over 20%? I can see it. Not saying it's likely, but I can see it. Especially if you think that François Legault is staying for real. I have to take the under. I could see a scenario where it's over, but the most likely I think it's under. So I'm going to take under 2.5.
I'm going to take the over because, for some stupid reason, I think the CQ doesn't end up tanking as much. But that's kind of it. It's hard to see any other party. I don't think any other party gets 20%.
No.
Quebec Solidaire is not going to happen. Conservatives, I don't think it's going to happen. No. And I don't think either of them can win 12 seats. So
yeah,
it's got to be the CQ.
I kind of could see the Conservatives edging up to 12 seats. If you're asking me what's the next most likely scenario, I mean, maybe the split in Quebec City is really in favor of the Conservatives and they get to 12 on the nose. But yeah, so you take the over. I could see it, but I'm banking on the under. Okay. All right.
I have one more in Quebec.
Go ahead.
That I think we should finish on, but if you got some more, go ahead.
I think, let me check. No, I'm done. Go ahead.
All right. This is not really a numbers one, but the number of times between now and the next time we record that Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon opens the door in any way to not holding a referendum in his first mandate. Any sort of weasel language that says, well, we could maybe put it off. And I'm going to put it 0.5. Will he ever, in the course of the campaign, in the days afterwards, say anything that suggests that he could even contemplate not holding the referendum in that first mandate?
When's the date? So our next over-under before
when we
Christmas?
next record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that would be marcher sur la peinture like never before. Monsieur Plamondon has been given many opportunities publicly by several media, including friendly ones to the Parti Québécois, to walk it back. And he never has. No hesitation. So, to do it in a campaign, I mean, I think it would be... I'm not saying there would be no merit to that strategy. It's just, it would seem quite weird. I'm taking the under. I think Monsieur Plamondon is not bluffing.
I'm going to take the over.
Wow.
I think that at some point, if the polls start to dip and the job that he thought was going to be his starts to look like maybe he could lose it, I bet you he says some sort of thing that says, well, like if if the people say they don't want one, we could maybe consider. I bet you if it goes badly, that's what happens.
Les conditions gagnantes, l'assurance morale, that was Bernard Landry, l'assurance morale de le gagner. Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I have one last one we should do before we do non-political. If you have some non-political,
I have.
And we do it almost every year. I think.
Go ahead.
The number of resignations, premier resignations.
Yeah.
In 2026, and I'm going to put the line at 2.5.
2.5. Premiers. Okay.
Premiers.
Well, obviously it's going to be Legault and Scott Moe if we go for a draft. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going to exclude the Blois Thompson, who's the leader, who's the premier PI right now,
Yeah, of
who
course.
will resign when that race is over in February.
Okay.
So we're going to exclude that one because we already know when that one's going to happen. But other than that, 2.5.
Legault and Eby would be the most likely, right? Then to get to a third one, you have somebody who's just tired of politics. Monsieur Houston just got there. Miss Holt just got there. Wakeham just got there. Kinu's not going to lose. Smith's not going to lose. Ford? Oh, you have this sparkle in your face. I'm taking the under 2.5. Are you taking the over? I'm
going to take the over, and I'm going to explain why.
Oh, okay, I'm listening.
I do think there's always the odds that just someone surprises us. We didn't expect Dennis King. We didn't expect Andrew Fury to resign in the last year.
True.
So that could always happen. One of them just decides it's over. And here's the other thing. All right? Now, I already said that I think he stays on. But François Legault resigns. His replacement also resigns after losing
Gets
the election.
beaten.
That's 2. And the third is some rando that we don't know yet.
Hedging.
I'm going to take the over.
If it is 2 on the nose and it's 2 Quebec premiers, that would also be very funny, but I would win. So.
Yeah.
Okay, very well. Miscellaneous, and for me that means hockey because I love hockey. Right now, Eric, if we look at the NHL standings, there are 2 Canadian teams in the playoffs: Montreal, Edmonton. So, number of Canadian teams in the NHL playoffs come April. 2.5.
I'll take the over easy. I don't think that's tough at all.
Easy? What do you mean easy?
They'll be Montreal or Ottawa will make it, I think, and then probably Winnipeg. I think they'll probably be fine. So I think I take the over 2.5. Yeah.
Okay, I think the Bruins and the Red Wings are better than I thought, and there's also the Lightning. So I'm not sure about Ottawa or Montreal. Maybe one of them, but not both. I'll take the under. I'm pessimistic here. I don't think it's going to be go so well for Canadian teams, and the Leafs are much worse than I thought. So anyway, okay. Do you have anything on the Olympics?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I don't have any miscellaneous. I wasn't too creative this year.
Gold medal for the men's hockey team. Or silver medal. I mean, okay, so do the men's hockey team win gold?
I mean, goaltending is going to be tough.
Yeah. They have forwards. I mean, look at the NHL scoring leaders. They're all Canadians, basically. But we don't really have a strong goalie. That's true.
I don't know. I think that in the end we still have the heart and we end up winning.
I say both women and men win it in hockey in Milano. So that's what I say.
Well, if the NHLers go, let's hope so. Here's one. There's something happening next year. Mm-hmm. The midterm elections in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Do the Democrats win it back?
Oh, I really, really hesitate to dive into this because polling in the States is so fickle and sometimes not that good. I say the Democrats win the House, but don't win the Senate. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. About right.
Yeah, Senate map is not good for Democrats. So.
Yeah. All right. Do you got anything else?
No, I think that's it. That covers it all. I mean, we didn't talk about the Chicoutimi by-election, but thing is, we all know the PQ is going to win this, so we'll see. But I think that covers it all, and I think it's going to be fun to tally this in our next Over Under episode next December. We'll be 1 year older, another spin around the sun, my friend.
Yep.
And so thank you for agreeing to do this. This is a fun. This predates the Numbers podcast.
Yep.
I had
the first couple ones
you.
we did in for the RIT podcast.
Yeah.
And this was something we've done. As I said, the first one we did was in 2021. It was for the 2022 year, and so now this is the 5th one. And now I have a winning record. It's 2-1-1. So I got to keep it up. And,
that's right.
This year we really pushed ourselves. We pushed ourselves not to have any ties for almost all of them. So I think I got it this year. I think I'm going to win the leadership resignation draft. Scott Moe's going to save me.
No.
It's going to be a heck of a year. It's already been a heck of a year, Philippe, and it's always fun to chat with you. And this podcast just keeps going, so we're happy about that. And once again, want to wish all of our listeners and our viewers all the best in 2026. That they have all the happiness and all the success that they want for themselves and their family. And if you want to continue to support the podcast, you can go to thenumbrouspod.ca, and that you get our bonus episodes. We get early access to episodes, and you show your support for the continuation of this project, which is now a few years old. So we're out of the teething years, I hope. So Philippe, have a great 2026, and we'll chat. We're not going to chat for a couple of weeks, so I hope you'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
Text me if you have any issues.
I will for sure. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Merci Eric. Thank you for your support. Happy New Year. Celebrate responsibly, and talk to you soon.